Welcome to Real Money Talks. Real strategies from the moneymakers and the world changers that you can use to make millions, keep those millions, multiply your wealth, and build your team. Here's your host, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View, Laurel Langmeyer.
And so let's keep moving on. Interested or committed. So this event, actually being in this community, I'm going to go broader than this event. Go ahead and move the slide, Steve. Our entire community is about the committed, right? The strong survive. And that doesn't mean you're going to immediately have your, limited part of your mind or brain go, oh, well, I don't know yet. It's a yes or no question. Do you want to get wealthy or you want to stay in your current situation? We have inflation at all-time high. Gas has never been this high. Like, I don't even know the last time.
Ever.
One answer, open up the damn pipeline and we'll be fine. I am a gas and oil millionaire. I have a huge opinion about that. Like it is so simple. I shouldn't say simple. There's a few moves. Randy and I know him. We talk about him. The owner and developer of iFlip, Kelly Korshak. I mean, we all talk about him. There's about 2 or 3 moves. You move them right, we're done. Like, you're done. Like, we're back to a great economy. You don't have all this homeless problems of people standing around while people are hiring. I mean, there is so much manipulation and crap going on. So if you're not willing to just get committed, and I'm saying committed about you, your family, what you can control. So I mentioned all that because that's going on here. But we don't live our life out here. We live right here. What can you do for you and your family to take care of them, protect them, do the best for them? That's the answer. Like, that's the commitment. And you got to do what we say. We have people in this community who still, 2 years later, are still didn't get incorporated. You can't begin the game and anything we're talking about unless you do a few moves. And we're going to tell you exactly what to do today. That's why we call this a Millionaire Intensive. We've got 2 hours. We're going to jam and tell you exactly what you got to do. You're going to raise your hand and say yes, or you're going to say, I'm interested. Then sit on the sideline, go watch my YouTube channel every day, 5 days a week. And then maybe one day a bell will click and say, shit, they told me that on June 9th in Laurel's birth month, and I should have done it. Well, don't be one of those, oh, I should have started earlier. Today's the day to start. And guess what? It's going to be damn inconvenient. I cannot tell you, Randy, we do have to do a funny ebook. Like, I have this whole visual of us being on a fun panel and we just sharing every inconvenient story that went through our life. Like, I don't know, in 1999, I was kind of jamming around the world. I mean, getting pregnant and then saying, oh gosh, in 9 months, I'm going to change my entire life to be a mom and figure all this out and figure out the money. Like, that was really damn inconvenient. Like, I didn't have the house for it. I had a 3-story, very singular, like single person house, not for a baby. I mean, I had all sorts of issues. I didn't care. You figure it out. So this is when I say committed at all cost. Randy, you want to add to that? Kamal, actually want to introduce you. Kamal's actually really new, amazing success, very quick success story in our community. But this is critical. This is so critical. Because I think a lot of you say you're committed and you're really interested. Let's define that at a level, because commitment is at all cost. I'll give you one more story and then I'll pass it to you guys for a few inconvenience. The day 1996, Bob Proctor introduced me to Robert Kiyosaki, Sharon Lechter. I was at a ranch in Northern California. He said, tomorrow. I said, Bob, I'm on a 10-day camp, leadership retreat. And figure out how to get the hell off the ranch, get to an airport, fly to Scottsdale. And by the way, I also had I worked for Chevron at the time. So I had all these employees I had to deal with. I hired somebody on my own cost for $1,500 to come manage my employees. I figured out how to get there. And the next day I was in Scottsdale sitting around Sharon Lechter's kitchen table. That was really inconvenient. And there was no excuses. So what would you two say about it? Because I don't think you realize the level of inconvenience and commitment, what it means.
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. This is Kamal, and thank you, Laura, for this amazing space. The key is to commit and start driving forward and stop looking backwards. And once you commit and you say you want to be a millionaire, do you mean it, right? And you start going with the flows. Like Randy started the room where you have to drop the guard and start learning, be in a learning environment. So you're committed to be a millionaire. It's a serious business. This is not for the wishy-washy hoping. You really want it. So once you commit, you just move forward in this direction and this energy. And that's what would happen. In record time, in 6 months, my life has changed for the better just because of this community. I could have never done by myself. Could I do it? Maybe in 20 years, 10 years. But this will speed you up so fast that you could barely keep up building the team and getting all the process in place. So the key of committed is start doing and emulating the actions. Take the expertise that's available and implement it into your life as fast as you can. And you got to follow the leaders. If you look around, you're going to see Dr. Jason, Andrew, Steve, Laurel, Randy, few more coming. Follow the leaders that are doing the things in their businesses, and then your business is going to grow. And you're not going to do it alone. Be committed to grow this multi-million-dollar business that you love. I was trained by Bob Proctor, Bob, rest in peace. And now I'm, learning from Laura a lot, learning fast to put the business in place and the system. I wasn't here. I was just like yourselves back in November, 6 months ago, not even 6 months ago. But what did I do different? Took the information and do something with it. When Randy said, go to your phone and see who are your contacts and call them, I do it. It's not a big deal. You're going to feel this and that, but you actually commit and you show up. So the key is do you really want it? And be honest with yourself. It's okay to be part of the 95%.
It is. And the other thing I'm going to piggyback right on top of what he just said, that, he said, just, make your list, call your people, get in your phone, start making sales, and then get in touch with the thing you do, your widget. Make sure it resonates. This I will tell you, I've not seen, I don't know, I can't think of anybody that started up a business, become a millionaire, and they don't believe in the thing they're doing. And so you got to have a little passion about it, believe in it, and ride with it. I sell flip software to everybody I meet, everywhere I go, every cab driver, every Uber person, every person that sits next to me on an airplane. And that's because I believe I can help them. And when you're committed to helping and committed to serving and willing to do everything it takes. Now, here's the problem. A lot of people get to the point where they're like, well, I'll just give it to you. I'll help you. I'll give away, give. No. If you're going to serve the world, the universe owes you rent. And the rent comes in the form of compensation, and you should accept it with open hands, open arms, be happy to have it. And so that commitment means you're committed to give and receive. It's a two-way street. You must be prepared for both and committed to both.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember the training with Bob. He said, Kamal, willingly give and graciously receive. So you got to be willingly give. You got to be a giver before you become a getter. And what Randy just touched on, you got to become the expert in your field. On the laser call yesterday, we touched on it in one of our calls here with Laura's group. You got to become an expert in something. So you have to enjoy that learning. You got to become a learner. And when you're an expert in that one or two things that you specialize in, you're committed to show it to the world. You'll be okay selling what you have, whatever is this widget. It's your pride and your elegance to do it. It's your responsibility. And that's how committed it is. Now, I do this coaching. I run a manufacturing company, to a $400 million company. It's huge. Why do I do it? It's fun. It's great. It's great to earn money, but you have to get on that frequency. You have to get on what do you want to accomplish in life. This is the way to do it. There is no other way. The system was built the way it was built. This is the way to move out of that 95% and join the few. So
absolutely. Well, and I just want to share. So go to the next slide. I mean, you talk about commitment, the team that put this, that supported this bestseller launch. So again, they're Wall Street Journal, Barnes and Noble. Again, I just want to, we're not here to brag about this one. We're here to thank you about it, because this was a lot of work. And those of you who bought NFTs with us, super excited. If you've not got your wallet together, they're minted and wallets have been dropped. Andrew, if you want to, just on as a little side note, put your information in the chat. Reach out to Andrew if you have bought one of the 4 NFTs with the book launch, because that's how we did it. We're the first author ever to put a huge, NFT launch with its book launch and then hit bestseller status. No one's ever done it. So we're super excited about that. And thank you. And what's going to be fun about this is the continued learning and then actually getting in the resale market of Lions and the NFT Lions. So Andrew is our lead on that. So he will help handle any issues if you didn't get them. And some of you are texting me privately. And when I say I want to mentor you, because some of you, I am picking you, by the way. We roll, right? Do we roll, Kamal? I pick Kamal.
I mean, it's absolutely, you're asking for it, but you're too scared. So if you get picked and if she says go, it's time to go. It's like what Bob Proctor told her a while ago. So if you get picked, this is your chance. Like, you're becoming more aware. It's up to you to take that responsibility and let's move.
Yeah, right away. All right, so we are also going to award commitment. So let's go to the next slide. Those of you, we have about a $5,000 swag bag, we call it. So it's a virtual swag bag, which is going to be digitally delivered to you Monday or Tuesday when you finish these things. So look out at the side. When you attend, look off to the right side. It's funny because when you teach, as long as I teach, you become dyslexic. Because if I said go this way, that means left to you, which is really my right. So anyway, I was having to think if that's which side of the screen I'm on. So for you, if you're looking at it, you're on the right side of the screen. So when you do these three things, so only three things, pretty simple. You have to attend from 10 to 4 today. Then you have to talk to your strategist. So those of you, if you have not booked a strategy session, we know you have been texted. Now, if you're joining us out on social land and you'd like to join in here, whoever's running social for us, go ahead and put the Zoom link in, have them come over and join. You have to be here, not out there, to attend because there's too many things going on inside here and in this chat and on the screen. So those of you, if you can't see the screen, you're gonna have to be here. And you got to fill out your student profile. Another way, and I'm going to have Steve correct that, and Andrew are going to correct it. We're going back to what we really used to call it. Instead of a student profile, it's a gap analysis. So you got to fill out your gap analysis. It's in the first 3 pages of the Millionaire Maker. You all got that. If you didn't, Steve, go ahead and put the 3 first chapters of the Millionaire Maker book out there, and you can all go grab that link and go get it. So go get the first 3 chapters, read them quick, do a gap analysis. So your gap, we'll explain in a moment. Your strategy session is coming soon, but here's all the goodies. You're going to get 3 programs that you only get when you're in our big table. So the big table is the name of the community that was built in 2001. It has been in existence, the longest standing mentor and mastermind program in the space of money. Actually, I think in any space, because we haven't adjusted. It's had the same goal, make millionaires. So you're going to get me teaching high-end sales, even though I don't outwardly teach it. If you work directly inside, I know how to do it. I've done this for over 20 years of my life. Randy does, even though I wrote this business plan program, he does the best job teaching it. Martha, who's been with us for now a decade and a half, teaches entrepreneurial leadership. It's very different than manager leadership. And then you're going to get my library if you didn't get it before, Expression of Your Power, which now is a super classic because of our loss of Bob. Bob and I did that in 2002. So those of you who say you have mindset issues, that is an 8-hour program. It will change your life with money. And then I give you my real estate stuff. So those of you who are out here, and yes, somebody asked if I'd have real estate in Tennessee. I did. We sold out of Tennessee. We're actually in the Ozarks doing some really cool Airbnb right around the Tantera Resort next to Jimmy Buffett, making a ton of money. Oh my gosh. Anyway, we have all sorts of ninja tricks. Like, we don't do a lot with the house in the Ozarks. We actually build out the dock, we get the boats, we get the jet skis, we build a bar, we build sound systems, and we build a party, because that's why people want to come. So we make way more money per night to put 22 people squished in a house that's not that fancy, because they're all going to party with swimsuits on all day long on the deck. So we put our money where we actually know where to get it. See, we're just going to teach you so many cool things when we all get together. The real estate is leverage is how I did it. And then we're going to give you field trip tickets. So this is worth running for. So if you had something else today, start canceling it, moving it, and say something came up, got an emergency. My life's important today. That's exactly what I would say on a text. That's what I told Chevron in the 1996, when I didn't show back up to work. I just went to work with Sharon and Robert and said, all right, I'm gonna go sell a game called Cash Flow. They're like, what? You're going to follow a Japanese guy in a game around? I said, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow a Japanese guy in a game around. And thank God, Rich Dad, Poor Dad became Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But you know what? The lesson in that is I jumped, I said yes. And guess what? If they wouldn't have hit, and it would have just been an okay book, not a world leading book, you know what? It would have put me on another path. It would have got me away from what I was doing, whining, crying like a lot of you do, saying, I can't do that, I can't do that. Yeah, you can do anything you want. But boy, you have to have the team around you to support you to have it done. So please play hard for this. And Molly is who you get this from. So she's who you check in with. She'll be checking on these things with you, but it's not her job to be your teacher. So it's your job to lead and say, oh, hey, Molly, on Monday. So Molly, put your information in. You will just email her, call her on our office. So put your email and office number and say, hey, I did all those things. Can I have my bag, my swag bag? So work for that. And that is, again, part of a leadership program. It's not her job. She's not your teacher. She's not your boss. She's not going to take, she is doing attendance. So she does know that part. The rest of it, you've got to report back that you did those things. All right, let's keep moving. This is the gap analysis that we were talking about. In the book, we talk about your baseline. Notice I put where you are at the bottom, and then I flip it instead of call it retirement, because that's an agricultural word. That means to put cattle to pasture to die. We don't use that word. So where are you and what do you want? So in that gap, you should be motivated. Think about your health. It's the same way. If you're here and you want to be here, you got to move. You got to have a plan. So the plan's in the middle. Well, notice our plans are only in two categories: income and assets. Now you say, well, but I have all this debt I have to worry about. Well, inside of debt, if you do good debt right, it's an asset. Now, a lot of you just had a brain lapse. I think you just went like, what? What did she just say? Debt is inside my asset column? Good debt. Now, if you have bad debt just because you haven't made enough money, I'm gonna say this a couple times, when you're in bad debt because you have to use your credit cards to live, the answer isn't you're out of your means or living within your means. You're not making enough money. So expand your means, learn how to make money. So I don't care if you have a job, do a bunch of entrepreneurial hustles. There's tons of things you could do. So there's not a company in the world that I'm aware of that isn't hiring right now. I think we've had an ad since the pandemic open forever. You know, and now people have rules around how they want to work. Well, if you want to make money, your rules aren't going to apply that much. And it depends. I have a lot of new people here in our office here in Carson City, Nevada, that are here to learn. They jumped at an opportunity. I'll speak to it like Daniel was one. I met him on a Clubhouse. That was the funniest day. And I said, if you really want to learn from a multimillionaire, it's what I did. I jumped, I left a huge job, $100,000 job at Chevron to start from scratch, zero, to learn everything for 5 years from Robert and Sharon. And then I met Bob, and then away we go. And I shouldn't say the rest is history, but the rest is history. So this is critical. And good debt is inside your asset column. If you have bad debt, you got to make more income and you'll get rid of bad debt. So all those things you're thinking about, like the be right slide, this is the one that's going to have your brain a little tangled up for a minute, because you're going to say, what do you mean? I got debt, I have expenses, I got payments, right? And so we just fix them in your expense, the way you spend. A totally different game in the way that you're thinking and behaving around money. Randy, anything? I think he might have stepped away for a little minute. Randy, anything you want to add to that one? This one's pivotal.
Sorry, Laurel, I had to take a call real quick. I apologize immensely.
So come on the other side of, well, I did something new today. I don't think Kamal's even heard to teach it that way, where I put bad debt inside your income column, if you have that problem, and I put good debt inside the asset column, because between this gap of where you are and what you want, you need a plan. And we're only going to focus on two big things: how you make it, how you invest it. And that's your millionaire pattern. Right there's your $1 trillion tip. I just taught you that. That's how millionaires live. We make it, we invest, we make, we invest. Most people make spend, and it doesn't occur to them to invest until later in life. And then it's usually too late because they don't want to work that hard. Their big earning years are over. And so I just tucked debt inside of those two categories. Yeah, that's the first time I've actually taught it that way. So we should capture this little moment, team, because that was
really that's good, because that's what your assets should be doing. Yeah, I mean, that's how it should be working, right? That's why you teach the money rules at the big table. So that as income comes in, it goes into assets, not necessarily to pay off debt. I get what you're saying. That's actually a good way to teach it, Laurel.
I know, it's after all these years. I know right now. Hey, let's show the jump video. So here's what we're going to ask you to do. Not only commit, we're going to ask you to jump. We have 3 terms we use a lot around here. We want you to commit, we want you to jump, and then we want you to live decided. And that'll come up in the afternoon. So I love the Steve Harvey video. Every successful person in the world has jumped. So let's show this video and we'll come back.
Okay, here's the deal. If you want to be successful, here's the thing you have to do. You have to jump. There is no way around it. You have to jump. Every successful person has jumped. You got to jump. You got to take a leap of faith. You got to dash off that cliff, and you got to jump out there as far as you can. Now, a lot of times you stand on the cliff of life and you see other people soaring by, gliding down like a bird flying through the air. You know, they going over to the south of France. You see them on a boat somewhere. You see their family vacationing here, their family vacationing there. You see them dressing like this. You see them in New York, then you see them in London. They flying by. You know why? It's because their parachute open. But the only way to get your parachute to open so you can soar, you got to jump. Now here's the problem. Here's the problem, my friends. When you jump, I can assure you one thing. You listening? I promise you this. Your parachute will not open right away. No, that's the fear part. I promise you your parachute will not open right away. You're gonna hit them sides and them rocks. You're gonna tear your back out on them cliffs. You're gonna cut yourself. You're gonna get wounded. You're gonna get some tears and stuff like that. But eventually, the parachute will open and you'll be soaring. But here's the other caveat. Let me teach you this right here. If you do not jump, I promise you one thing, your parachute will never open. So you're safe, but you'll never soar. You got to jump. I got to go.
I love that video, and I'm have you write this down. It's kind of new that I want you to do. I want you to write down safe versus soar, because it's along the whole theme that we're talking about, and how much you run to safety versus jump. Randy, I'm going to jump. So let's go to the next slide. Let's keep jamming. I think they're getting it. This is, I want you to speak to this. Because Rich Dad Poor Dad was an amazing phenomenon. It still is. It still hits bestseller lists. I mean, it's an anchor to the financial space. And I lived and worked with them. I didn't work for them. I worked with them. 1996, when I jumped, I started my first C Corp. Very similar to Randy, taxed as an S. And you have to imagine what that C Corp is worth, right? That C Corp from 1996 to today, just a few minutes old, easily worth $1 million. I mean, just the shell itself. The history, the financial history. That's what a lot of you are going to learn as we dig into this deeper, what corporate life really means and living through these corporations. So I've had that since I met these guys, and with the Rich Dad Poor Dad team as part of the deal. They're going to do a deal with Laurel. They're going to do a deal with the company. So I had to get a company quick. And I learned so much there. It was the master distributor of their cash flow game. And every time I played that game, the number one question at the end of the game was, now, how do I put this in my life? Hence, when I left in 2000, became the millionaire maker doing the how.
Laurel, the one of my humble opinions is the secret of you and your community is what you just said. There are a lot of people out there teaching, training, educating on getting in touch with your why. Get it in touch with your purpose. Get it in touch with manifestations, think and grow rich, the secret. All of that is good. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying, but they're all missing the most critical piece, which is the how. The how do you do it? Okay, great. I've been sitting around on my couch. I made a vision board of Maseratis and I've been chanting Maserati and I've been writing my affirmations. I want a Maserati. And for some reason, I don't have one. Well, because to get a Maserati requires money. And in order to do that, you must go sell something, which means you must have a service or a good that is helping the world or providing a need. And then what do you do? That's what this is all about. You can't sum up this community any better than this community shows you how. Yes, there's education and there's experts on the mindset and the why and all. That all exists and it's all important. But what people don't like to teach, and I'll tell you why, they don't like to teach how. And you know why? Because how, you have to be accountable. You have metrics, you can measure it. You can actually see how well you did. So we can ask anybody on this call at the end of the day, how much money did you make? And I'll bet you there's a direct correlation with how many ask-tell asks they did, and how much coaching they received on it, and what their first one to their last one changed. And so embrace the how. Embrace the how. Can't say it loud enough because you can't get there without it.
So this is Laurel, and you've been listening to my podcast. If you've enjoyed this, I have a couple things you can do that are completely up to you. Number one, take my quiz. Go to integratedwealthsystems.com and take the quiz. You will find that there's one of 4 personalities, financial personalities we call them, that you're going to fall into. So as you take the quiz, it'll actually go through and identify, are you in stagnant cash flow, right? Are you overpaying taxes? Do you have debt issues? Are you a lifestyle junkie? Where are you?
And then from there, it goes to a video that actually gives you some solutions on how to correct that problem. So again, go to integratedwealthsystems.com, take my quiz, and we'll go from there.
Thanks for listening to the Real Money Talks podcast. Your host has been Laurel Langmeyer, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View. Want to learn more about off-Wall Street investing, tax strategies, and multi-million-dollar business strategies? Visit liveoutloud.com/podcast for past episodes, show notes, and resources. For some special wealth-building gifts only for Laurel's podcast listeners, visit liveoutloud.com/podcast gifts. Do you have a burning question for Laurel? Visit asklaurel.com to submit your question, and it may just be covered on a podcast episode. So stay tuned and be sure to subscribe to get new episodes every week.